Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another edition of Book Review Thursdays where I review books that I have read. And no, I don't know why my arms just popped up like this. I feel like Will Ferrell and Talladega Nights. You know what I'm talking about, you guys? Sorry, my words just got all jumbled up in my mouth. It's when he's doing his first interview after winning his first race and he just keeps lifting up his hands like this, but he doesn't know why, and he has to they just keep pushing it down and he's just like, that's what I just did when I popped my arms like that. My arms, I didn't know what to do with my arms, so I just popped them up. Anyways, today I'm going to be reviewing a book that I don't really think I've seen any reviews for this book so far. It's not like super new, but it's relatively new. The second book in the series just came out, and the book I'm talking about is The Singular Menace, Uncaged. This is book 1 in the Singular Menace series, and it's authored by John... I can't see what his name is. Oh god, what is it? Sandford by John Sandford and Michele Cook. I'm not familiar with either of these authors, but apparently, after I did a little bit of the Googleins, John Sandford is supposed to be a renowned author. He's actually a Pulitzer Prize winning author. He's got like 1,000 thriller novels. So yeah. And I think that Michele Cook is supposed to be like his lady, or they're really good friends or something like that. I didn't really get into the whole thing because I didn't honestly care. But the cover caught my attention, and it was so funny because after I bought it, I realized that it has a sticker that says signed copy. I don't know how it eluded me that says signed copy, but it was the last signed copy, and you guys know that I loves me some of that autograph goodness. So it's signed by both authors, and I just stabbed my face with the book. It's signed by both authors on the title page on the inside, and this is, as far as I'm aware, a first print, first edition. You can still find all these books in first edition because, like I said, it's a relatively new series. And it was printed in July, and the second book just came out. But are we in July right now? I'm confused. What? I don't know. Anyways, so... you guys know the drillio by now. I say the things that I liked, the things that I didn't like, and then at the end of the video I give a rating based on the things that I liked and didn't like. But of course, before I get started, I will give you a bit of a synopsis. I can read the one on the back, but it's like really tiny. I'll do it anyways, why not? It says, Shay, and I hope that's the way it's pronounced because I swear I have like the most challenge with last names in books. These characters always have these last names that I've never heard of. Arrives in Hollywood with $50 and a handmade knife. She's got to find her brother before Singular does. So yeah, Singular is the bad guy in this series. I guess I'll get a little more in depth in that because that's like super vague. There is a longer synopsis in the cover, but I'll just do my own. You know, I did read the book. So, Shay and Odin, that's her brother. So Shay and Odin Remby are orphan kids who are in the foster system. Shay is 16 and Odin is 17. Both are about to have birthdays. So she's going to be 17, he's going to be 18. And Odin somehow gets himself mixed up with this like super crazy animal activist group that decides to break into one of the facilities owned by Singular because they've heard that they're doing just really, really awful experiments on animals. And so they do. They wreak havoc, but in the process they end up finding out this information that's like even worse than just animal experiments. And so they end up almost getting caught in the process of this raid, and they have to take off, and so Odin has to take off with that group of people. And he ends up getting in touch with Shay and letting her know like, hey, we had to go on the run because they're gonna get us. The problem is that, I guess I don't want to say problem, but the problem for, well, I just said it again. The thing that worries Shay is that Odin suffers from a type of autism that often makes people kind of take advantage of him, but at the same time he's like a super computer genius. So she's just worried that her brother's going to be taken care of, and decides that she's going to go ahead and run after him. And when the story takes off, they both end up landing in, and my nose is really itchy all of a sudden. I don't know why. They both end up in Los Angeles. Please excuse me, I swear I wasn't picking my nose. It's itchy. Ugh. You guys know that always happens to me. It's get itchy. I don't know why. So, we mostly get the beginning of the book. We're getting kind of Odin's perspective, not even Odin's perspective. We're just watching what's going on with Odin, but the majority of the book is told from Shay's point of view and a couple of other people. So I really like the premise of the book. With me, it's always the cover that kind of like calls to me like, please buy me, you will love me. But obviously it has to have a really good premise, and it did. The beginning of the book kind of started off a little bit slow for me, but after that it picked up pretty good. So you guys know that for me, the pace of the book is a really important thing, and I was able to read this book in 2.5 days. It only took that long because I couldn't just sit down and read. I had to, do other stuff. But I read the first half of the book on the first day, a quarter of the book on the second day, and then the last quarter the day after that. So it was about 2.5 days more or less. And I say days because I would have to stop and do other things and etc, etc. Okay, so things that I liked. Pace, of course. I just mentioned that like 2 seconds ago. Pace was really important for me. I was able to finish the book quickly. That's always like 10 points in my book. Then there were the perspectives. The authors did this really interesting thing where you almost felt like you were reading the script of a movie, and it was because of the different views that you were giving. Although the majority of the book is from Shay's perspective, it's not always directly from her perspective. What I mean, either it's she's talking, explaining things, and you're seeing things from the way that she's seeing them, or you're seeing it as a third-party spectator kind of looking down, like the way you do in a dream or in an actual movie. You're looking down and seeing what she's doing, and you're following her around. The same thing goes for the bad guys. You're either seeing what they're doing directly as though you're the bad guy, or you're seeing it from a third perspective and kind of getting the entire picture. So because you get these different perspectives, you get a really broad picture of what's going on in the book, and so you get really immersed in it and you have a good idea about everything that's going on. So you're getting both sides clear on. Another thing that I really liked was that even when a character only makes a minor appearance, like they could literally be in one of the pages for like 2 seconds, the authors have gone out of their way to give you some little tidbit, some little piece of information about this character that makes you go like, okay, I don't know your whole life story, but I know something about you, even if it's just that you used to be a criminal, or that you used to be in the military, or that you used to be this or that. Like they always make sure to keep you in the loop of what's going on. You never ever feel like you're lost in this book. You're never like, I don't get it, what the heck is going on? You always know. I really liked that Shay is a doer. She's not scared. She goes out there. She does what she needs to do in order to get to her brother. She's super resourceful. She's a really strong female character. I think I do see some growth in her within the book. It's not like tremendous growth, but it's really, for being a series, you always want to see a little bit of change in the characters with each book. You don't want them to be the same exact character every single book, because then they're like blah. They're like a piece of Play-Doh that just blah, it's just there. So no, we need some change. We need events to form you, to shape the characters. Let me see, what else? Those are pretty much, I think, the things that I really did like. Things that I didn't like. I guess I'll jump into things I didn't like. If I think of anything else that I liked, I'll come back. Okay, so things that I didn't like. So even though I do like that Shay is a strong, resourceful character, I also find that she's a bit of an unrealistic character. And then this has to do with overall how the characters were written. So I don't know if John Sandford has written adult thriller books or if there have always been young adult thrillers. By the way, this is a young adult book, if I didn't specify, and if you didn't get that from the fact that all the characters are teenagers pretty much. But he doesn't write any of these characters as though they're teenagers. Like, honestly, they're all the most mature, level-headed teenagers I've ever met in my whole life. I mean, even, for example, in Hunger Games with Katniss being so mature, Katniss still has very teenage moments. You see her going through some very teenage emotional moments. In this book, Shay never really has that teenage moment where she's not thinking clearly, where she's messing up. Everything is just, she does it so perfectly calculated. And another thing that I really couldn't stand was that everything that she sets out to do always works out for her. Like, that's so unrealistic. Every single plan that she thinks of, everything, she always executes it perfectly, never gets caught. Even in the moments where you think she's gonna get caught, she doesn't. Something always works out in her favor, and it's annoying because it's like, okay, give me some sense of reality. She's gonna fail. At some point she needs to fail. She needs to stumble something, but they never do. So they're like the most adult teenagers I've ever read in any series. Also, the fact that the bad guys are so obviously bad guys. What I mean with that, they're just like the stereotypical bad guys that you see in all those action films. They're just so typical bad guys. It's almost annoying. And then the good guys are such typical good guys. Even though they do some law breaking, it's still for like the good of the mass. So it's very black and white, which I feel takes away the element of realism. Like, come on, things are not always so black and white. There are some gray areas in between. That's pretty much my biggest complaint of this book, was that they kind of steal away from the fact that people stumble and things don't always work out perfectly, and the bad guys don't always fail and the good guys don't always win. Sometimes the bad guys win and sometimes the bad guys lose. But whatever. Overall, at the end of the book, you see the most growth out of your characters, out of your characters, out of our characters, out of everyone's characters. You see the most growth out of the characters in the book. And they leave you in a place where, and I've been noticing a lot about series lately, where you can kind of just stop and be like, okay, it's sort of like an open ending, but you're okay. You really don't need to move on to the next book. But you really get a good sense of what's going to happen next. I would have to say that because it is a thriller, it's a dramatic thriller, by the way, it does have like tiny little baby pockets of like light moments that try to lighten the mood. But for the most part, it's a dramatic thriller. It's because of that, of course, it's fast-paced. It's not a psychological thriller at all. It's just a regular thriller, so in case anybody's wondering. The book is supposed to be... Oh, I just thought about something that I didn't like, because the book is supposed to be geared according to, I think it was Amazon or Barnes & Noble, I don't remember. According to them, the age range starts from 12 and up. I completely disagree. There's a lot of cursing in this book. Mostly from the bad guy's side. But sometimes even from Shay and other people. It's like a lot of unnecessary cursing for a book that's supposed to be geared towards 12-year-olds. I would have to say, personally, I think that this book is better off for anyone from 16 years and older. Maybe even 17-year-olds and older. I don't know. It really depends on whether you're allowed to be reading books that have excessive cursing in them. But that's pretty much it, you guys. So I did enjoy this book. I think I will pick up the second book in the series. That one's called The Singular Menace. Outraged, I think it was. I think it was Outraged. I'm not sure. I did see it when I went to Barnes & Noble, but I was not going to repeat my mistake of Legend and just jumping in and buying a whole bunch of books without really knowing if I was going to like them or not. But I do want to know what happens next. I don't know if there's going to be any books after a second book or if it's just a 2-book series. But yeah, you can go ahead and pick up the copy of Singular Menace at your local bookstore or at Amazon or one of those places. And it was at Barnes & Noble, it's $18.99. You might still get lucky and get a signed copy if you're into that. I'm totally into that. But that's it, you guys. I think my reviews are getting a little bit better. I don't know. Oh, rating time. For Singular Menace, I would say I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it. I did. I'm not going to lie. It's been a while since I've been able to sit down and read a book immediately. I mean, I still have a bunch of TBR books just piling up, waiting for me to get them. In case you guys are wondering what TBR means, it's to be read books. They're just piling. They're just piling up, reminding me that I need to read them. The one book that I really want to finish is The Maze Runner, and I'm having a little bit of a hard time with that. But I'll leave that for another edition of Book Review Thursdays, if I actually ever happen to get through with The Maze Runner, because maybe I won't. I don't know. Alright, you guys, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me comments below. Consider subscribing. Check out the video that I posted before this one. It's the Mockingjay Part 2 trailer reaction video, in case for some reason you didn't realize that today that was coming out. But anyways, you guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye!